Yo, what's going on, people? King Riches back again with another live stream. Yeah, big up all the supporters on my channel. Much appreciation to all of you. We are going to look at a lot of videos today, which will be highlighting the realities of dating as a black man. Now, obviously, this is a topic I like to talk about because I am a black guy. I have quite a lot of experience dating here in the UK and in America, and dating women from, you know, various parts of Europe, even as far as Australia. I've done a lot out there, like, do you get what I'm saying? And I have a very wide range of experiences with different types of women. You know, I've done interracial dating a lot, obviously dated black women as well. So, you know, I think that I'm somebody who's quite well balanced in talking about these subjects, and a lot of you lot like when I talk about these subjects. So here we go, and we are going to react to a lot of videos, a lot of content today. So please make sure you like the video and don't forget to do that. Yeah, and also, if you're watching this live or watching this on a playback, you know, help support the channel, hit the super chat, hit the super thanks, you know, all of that good stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna select a video, and I want to see you lots interaction in the chat. I'm definitely going to comment or reply to the comments that are in the live chat right now. So I want to take a look and see what I want to start with. Yeah, let's see where I'm gonna start right now. All right, so I'm gonna start with this video here, right? And this is by a content creator by the name of Neelich TV, right? And
Black guys.
He's going to talk about a lot of the topics or points that I've talked about many times. And yeah, I think this is going to be quite interesting. All right, cool. So this is his video right here. Make sure you all check out his channel as well. You know, check out his channel as well. Tell him that, you know, you was directed from over here, and let's see what he's got to say anyway.
Talk about the BBC myth, the Tyrone myth, that is, and this overall debunking this point, which I see very popular nowadays, that black guys are at the top when it comes to sexual market value, when it comes to dating, when it comes to their overall reach. I always hear guys talking, you know, I get comments like this on my YouTube channel. I also hear similar types of comments from friends and people that I know that, oh, like, hey, you should go to Germany, you should go to Poland, like, oh, like, in Europe you're wanted, all the black guys are wanted. In Asia, all the black guys are wanted. Oh, in South America, all the black guys are wanted. And you pretty much just hear this claim wherever you go, that any location, all the girls are just checking for you, whatever race. You're just in so demand, like, oh, black guys have it so easy. And you know, as I said, I think that this message is quite overall false, and is more so just corn fantasy, if you may say, or online internet sensationalism rather than actual fact. And, you know, for a lot of guys watching this video, maybe you're a black guy, maybe you're not. A lot of guys, you may believe this yourself, and I understand it. There's a lot of social programming and overall online messages which kind of lead you to believe things are not necessarily always the reality. And I think it's overall diluted a lot of the minds of people in general.
Yeah, and I've talked about this so many times, numerous times, how that, like, a lot of guys are really convinced that all women of all different colors and creeds are so desperate to get with a black guy, and like, the reality is it's not true. It's just not. The vast majority of people usually choose to be with their own, right? And there are various reasons why a lot of women from other cultures will not want to couple up with a black guy. And I just think that this whole idea of black guys are the most desired, etc., it is corn fantasy. It really is. Like, a lot of guys have been watching too much interracial corn, and they think that that is what's going on outside, or they've been watching the lives of their favorite celebrities, rappers, musicians, pro athletes, etc., etc. You see them with all these exotic women, right? You know, from Becky's to Latinas to Asian, etc., etc. And they think that that is somehow a reflection of what the average man it has on, as an option. And I just don't believe that to be true, right? The vast majority of black men are going to be with black women, you know, just the same way as in any other group as well, right? Now, there are always exceptions, but exceptions never make the rule. And this is just the way it is. A lot of times when you see non-black women with black men, especially if these non-black women are exceptionally good looking, it's usually they are with a Tyrone. They're usually with a guy who is exceptionally good looking, or maybe he has some kind of notoriety, some status or money, right? A lot of these very attractive non-black women, they're just not going to pick to be with an average black guy. And that's just the truth. But anyway, let's carry on.
So in this video, I'm gonna be getting into the points of my experience as a black man, as well as kind of just describing why these overall messages I think are not really the truth. So let's get right into it. So the first point is, again, internet sensationalism isn't really the reality of life. And a lot of guys are like, oh, every woman just wants a BBC. They just want to get stretched out and they're just craving this fantasy, and it's not really the truth. First reason being that not every black guy actually has a BBC. Some have a small C. That's the first point. And I know it may sound funny, but you know, I'm just kind of explaining these points one by one. So that's the first point.
I'd like to add on to that, the whole BBC myth and all of that. At the end of the day, most people on this planet are going to be average in most facets of life, including the size of the willy, right? Most guys are going to be average, right? So I think that as a black man, because of this BBC stereotype, we are, you know, we have that added pressure of being some kind of sex god. Yeah, we have that added pressure of being a man with a BBC and, you know, having serious sexual prowess, you know, being able to ultimately satisfy any woman in the bedroom. And, you know, I think it could be a big pressure on a lot of black guys, you know, because, you know, maybe you're a black guy and you're on the average side, or maybe you're a black guy on the smaller side. And now you've got that stereotype of, oh, well, you're a black guy, you should have a BBC, you should be hung like a horse. Do you get what I'm saying? And then, like, you know, especially if you're doing interracial dating, and say you're dating a woman who has that fetish of wanting to be with a BBC, expecting you to have that, and you don't have that. Now that's just like a really awkward situation. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's just something to add on. But anyway, carry on.
And that in and of itself is going to kind of discredit a lot of this overall belief. But let's get into the points that I have listed one by one, because I got a lot for you guys. The first point is, typically speaking, when women, if they do like black guys, they like black guys, they're talking about the Tyrone. The 6'5", super jacked, you know, athletic phenomenon, or the famous rapper, something like this. They're not talking about just a normal average black guy. So that's the first point. A lot of time when people think of this image of a black man, that's the image that they come into their mind. But the reality is, not every black dude is 6'5" with a big willy, you know, super muscles, tattoos, earrings, all this stuff. Like, not every black guy's like that. A lot of black guys are just short. A lot of guys have normal size, you know what, and so on.
Yeah, I would say probably most black guys are like this guy right here on the screen. Real talk, like, and that's not to, you know, discredit or insult this guy at all, but I would say this guy is more on the average looks level, and majority of people are average looking, whether male or female. But in terms of like black men, most black guys walking around are going to be on the same looks level as this guy right here, you know, to maybe to 1 degree higher or 1 degree lower. Like, do you get what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. So I agree with what he's saying. Like, and a lot of times when women say they like black guys, you know, yes, they are talking about Tyrones, but especially when you're talking about interracially, those non-black women, they will want a Tyrone, but many times they're talking about a mixed race guy. This is something I've always noticed, and I've always voiced it on this channel. A lot of times, these non-black women, they will say that they want a black guy, but really they're talking about a mixed race guy. And you see this a lot in popular media. You know, when you see these Beckys or whatever, you know, they'll be with a very light-skinned black guy, or if not a mixed race black guy. But anyway.
That's the first point I would like to mention. So, Tyrones is a term, the internet term that a lot of people use to describe this type of black guy. And you gotta understand that what percentage of people do you actually think are 6'5" with elite level athletic genetics?
Hey, and let me just say big up to Tolonius for the super chat supporting black male media. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Please, 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 everybody, follow Thelonious as example. Hit the super chat, support the live streams, very important. And also, every one of you, please hit the like button. Yeah, we want to keep the likes high. As many viewers are in here, we want to keep the likes high. Yeah, let me check how many we got so far. We haven't got enough likes at all. 23 likes right now, and there's nearly 100 of you watching right now. All right. So let's get the likes up to at least 75 right now. 75 of you could hit the like button right now. All right. Support black male media, just like Thelonious said in the chat. All right. Cool.
And, you know, looks and everything. It's such a small percentage. Maybe not even 1% of black guys probably fit into that specific category. So that's the first point. The second point is this, and I've mentioned this a lot in my other videos, and I've seen this, I've really gotten to see this traveling around the world, outside the USA, that people prefer their own. So what I mean by that is, I'm in Taiwan right now, it's a very homogenous country. Taiwanese people are gonna prefer Taiwanese. If you go to Poland, for example, which I've been to, Polish women prefer Polish men. If you go to, wherever you go in the world, if you meet some Latino woman, she's gonna prefer Latino men first and foremost. And now these are always just generalizations. There's definitely some girl that maybe doesn't prefer them, but again, we're talking about averages and the majority. So when it comes to dating, you wanna have that general appeal versus the niche appeal, because you're just gonna have an overall best reach. So following people preferring their own, if they're not really gonna date their own, or if they're gonna be open to dating someone else, typically white is next down the line in this list, in this tier list. And that is because whites overall just have a very well-received perception. You know, they're perceived to be, you know, successful in general. They're perceived to be stable, you know, to have money, come from good families, you know, as well as the beauty standard is centered around white men. Or not.
Yeah. Well, white people, or the white man, has made his image look very, very good on the global stage, not just in one country or not just amongst his own people, but just in general. You know, the white male images of, like, you know, hardworking, got money, you know, sensible, you know, reliable, etc., etc., etc. When in contrast, the image of black men has kind of been twisted, and the propaganda against black men has made it look like, you know, deadbeats and lazy and never got money and always struggling and etc., etc., creating broken homes and etc., etc., when we know all men do all these evils. All men fall short in all of these departments. But for some reason, black men have been labeled or tied with these stereotypes to a degree that other ethnic groups of men have just not. And it's simple as that. But anyway,
not necessarily white men, but, you know, white Eurocentric beauty standards is kind of the standard that shapes a lot of the world. So if they're not gonna date their own, that's gonna be the next in line, just naturally. And again, you as a black guy, you're not, if we're talking about places like here, Taiwan or Poland or whatever, you're just not gonna be that choice because they're gonna prefer their own men first. And then after that, white's gonna be the second in the list. Unless we're already talking about a white country. So a lot of guys at this point would sit there and say that, hey, yes, we already understand that, but look, black guys are there in the list as well. You know, some of them kind of put black guys at the same level as white dudes in terms of the, you know, the dating hierarchy, in terms of what's usually desired. And a lot of guys, like, you know, you'll get other minority groups that may say that, yeah, hey, white guys are the group is at the top, but the next on the list should be black. And they, you know, black guys have, like, you know, a huge, a decent amount of dominance in, you know, Western media and so on. So they're like, yeah.
Yeah, because of the music and because of sports, literally because of entertainment and sports. If it wasn't for entertainment and sports, then, you know, the image of black men would not be that great. Let's be honest about it. It just wouldn't be that great. But because there's a lot of athletes that are black men, and you see them on TV, you know, and you see them getting large paychecks from sporting foundations and stuff like that, corporations, and you see a lot of black men singing and rapping and, you know, doing all kinds of like media. You know, people get it twisted and think that, oh yeah, these people, they represent the whole demographic, when they don't. That's a small, tiny, minuscule percentage of black men on this planet. Yeah, and we know that majority of women are going after the top 10% of men anyway. Right? So let's just keep it real.
What about, they're like, oh, we as Indian guys or as East Asian guys, we're at the bottom of the picking because girls just don't find us sexually attractive. They don't desire us. You guys have the BBC and a lot of white girls or whatever into that. And you can say that that is true to some extent. I would actually argue that, yeah, black guys may have overall higher sex appeal and the ability to get their foot into the door when it comes to getting laid or short-term flings when you're looking at these type of environments. Just due to, again, we have that kind of perception of being very powerful, wild, BBC and so on. Yes, that can benefit you in terms of short-term and getting the hook. But you gotta understand that there's a difference between short-term fun, kind of flings, fetishization versus long-term potential.
Exactly. Why would you get happy because someone basically sees you as a toy? Because if you're dealing with somebody who only is with you because of some kind of BBC fetish, they don't view you as a human being. They view you as a toy. And I don't think any black man who is self-respecting is going to be okay with being viewed or perceived as a toy. All right?
And in general, yeah, that's just going to be the case. And I'm going to get to this later in the video. The next point is this. So, as I said, people prefer their own, and then next down the list will be white men. So, for minorities that don't really fall into one of those categories, if they're trying to play the interracial dating game, which, again, if you're living in a very Western country, that's going to be a huge, you know, it's a very diverse, heterogeneous societies, you may have to sit there and tap into this to some extent. Minorities are going to tend to struggle in this regard a little bit more than, say, the white men. Just due to, because they don't have that same overall reach. USA, you know, Canada, England, Australia, these are all like white majority countries, so white's just going to be the overall preference when it comes to dating attraction, as well as for the other reasons that I've already mentioned. So if you're an Indian guy or an Asian guy, again, doesn't mean you're excluded from the pool, but you do have less options occasionally just due to that marketplace that we're in. So people say, okay, just focus on dating your own. And yes, I think that Asian guys, East Asian guys, the Indian guys, South Asian guys like Indian, Pakistani, or, you know, all these other minority groups, that is probably their best option when it comes to the West, because they're not going to have the preference over the white guys in a white majority country in terms of the dating options. So for them, that's always something that you're able to default to.
Yes, absolutely. And this is why I get a lot of pushback from like Asian men when I talk about, you know, dating being so difficult for black men, and the dating experience being so unique to only black men, because at the end of the day, like, location is a big part of this as well. But if you're in a country, like he's saying, in a white predominant country like the USA, UK, etc., etc., you know, your best bet is probably to date women within your group, because, you know, again, people usually tend to couple up with their own, right? And from what I've seen, heard throughout my life, or all the way up to now, like, I don't really hear of like many women from those other non-black, non-white groups saying that they don't want to date their own men. Do you get what I'm saying? Or coming out saying all these kind of anti anti men rhetoric. Do you get what I'm saying? It just doesn't, it's not the same, bro. Like, it's just not the same. But anyway.
Well, as a minority in these countries. However, here's the point. Whereas if you're an average East Asian guy, or an average Indian, Pakistani guy, South Asian, or, you know, if you're a Latino, whatever, even if you're average and nothing special, maybe you just, again, it's not an insult, maybe you just work a normal job, maybe you have normal friends, normal hobbies, you should be able to date, even if you're not able to date the white chicks so at a high efficacy, or other group races, you're going to be able to do well with your own, typically speaking. Wherever.
Yes. This is the point. This is the point that I'm trying to make with a lot of the Asian guys that they don't agree with black men having it so difficult. If you are like an Asian, South Asian, East Asian guy, and you're average, you can still do well dating within your community. You don't have the same kind of pressures and obstacles that black men have dating within our own community. I just don't think you need to be making six figures and be 6'8" and, you know, all of this stuff. Yeah, I just don't think you have those stereotypes going against you. Whereas I think black men, when we date within our community, we have a lot of levels that we are expected to already pass. You know, you need to be making a lot of money to be dating a decent, a good looking woman. You need to have a certain looks level. Like, you basically need to be a Tyrone with money if you're gonna date within your community and go after, like, you know, the attractive women. It's just as simple as that. Like, whereas I just don't think it's the same for men in other communities. I just don't think it's the same. I don't think they have that same level of pressure, or, you know, just pressures. Yeah.
There you go. And yes, this is also the case for black men. However, at least in Western Anglo countries, the standards for black women are pretty narrow and tend to take on extreme hypergamous standards. So what exactly do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, let's say you're just a normal East Asian guy. A lot of time you could just work a normal job, maybe go to the gym a few times a week, have your hobbies, hang out with your friends, and yeah, you could get yourself, if you're saying they're focusing on your own, you know, racial group, you get yourself a cute girl. Maybe she's not the model or anything, but you shouldn't have too many difficulties. However, with black women, especially in Western Anglo countries, their standards tend to be higher and very narrow.
That's what I'm saying. As a black man, when you date within your community, you will find that the women have a very, very high standards for the guys that they want to date. Like, and I think those standards are gonna be way higher than the women that are, like, you know, East Asian and South Asian when they're dating their own men. I don't think it's going to be the same level of pressure. I just don't think it is, from what I've seen out there, you know. And obviously some men are going to come out and say, oh no, we have it harder. I mean, you know, you're entitled to your opinion, but I just think that really and truly, as a black guy, if you're not a good looking tall guy with money and etc., you're pretty much gonna be in a tough position in terms of dating within within your community, and dating outside of your community.
So I'm gonna tell you something personally about me.
Big up to Omar for the super chat. He says, I found it harder after getting older with a career. Wow. So, you know, Omar saying it got harder as he got more older. Dating got harder. But anyway, let's carry on.
Growing up, black women, I'm like approaching my late 20s now. Black women are just not checking for me in Western Anglo countries. And that's not because they don't like black men. No, in fact, they absolutely love black men if you look at the actual racial studies on this. However, black women tend to like black men to fall into a very specific category. They like the Tyrone, which I kind of mentioned earlier in the video. And not the Tyrone, they kind of like the guy that resembles the culture of their own. So I've already mentioned that like people prefer their own. That's obviously because they look alike, they have similar values, similar cultural upbringing, maybe speak same mother language and so on. These are all in your advantage when it comes to, it's gonna feel more comfortable, and that's why they're gonna kind of gravitate toward that. Black women are gonna think the same, and the reality is, especially in these Western countries, blacks tend to grow up in very heavily urbanized, kind of hood or street environment, so that's what they tend to gravitate toward in terms of their culture. This is not an insult, this is not in any way a repudiation of them. No, that's just what they prefer, and that's how they grew up. So, guys like me, I was always labeled, and I hear this a lot of time, that, oh, hey, you don't sound black. What does that mean? Well, we know what that means. It's not a very endearing term, but when someone says you don't sound black, it's saying that you don't sound like the guy that's like, yo, what's good, man? What's popping in the hood? Obviously, that's an exaggeration, hyperbole, but...
And I'll say this as well. That is a thing in the UK as well. If you're a black guy in the UK and you talk, you sound white, etc. And I've even been told that. I've even had people... even women from my own community tell me that I sound white, you know what I mean? But I could still, I could still get them. But, it's some weird thing of that. As a black man, you're in this narrow pigeonhole niche and if you do not satisfy what people perceive as a black man, if you stray outside of that box, now you're perceived as kind of weird. You're weird, and a lot of times the women, they don't want to date you. They're not interested. Yeah, you have to be this Tyrone with money, with the hood element inside you. Even if it's not like you're a career criminal, maybe you're a regular guy, but you need to have that little bit of edge. And if you're not that, then a lot of these women, they're not interested, and that's just how it is.
1 second, there's an ambulance. That's obviously an exaggeration, but the point is, like, black women tend to gravitate toward these hood guys, these street guys, these guys that got, the tattoos and maybe the pants sagging. Not necessarily, but they overall gravitate guys that have that street IQ, that street intellect, and they grew up in that type of environment because that's the culture that they relate to. Guys like me that, I spent some time in New York, but I didn't really grow up in the hood. And then I moved out to the suburbs later with my family. I didn't really grow up in that type of environment, so I don't talk the same way as they do. I don't really have the same cultural upbringing as they do. And as a result, black women in the USA are just not really checking for me. And I hear the same thing with a lot of black men that kind of grew up in similar circumstances to myself. So, whereas other guys could kind of just be a normal Asian guy, even if he has his own niche interest, he may be able to get an Asian girl that likes him, or an Indian South Asian guy could get a South Asian girl that likes him. He's not expected to fall into such a narrow category as the black man is in these Western countries, because the black culture can be quite narrow, as most blacks tend to kind of grow up in these, maybe like single households or, hood environments. And that's the culture that it brings about. So black guys, they're not going to be the preference when it comes to interracial, because those women are going to prefer their own or white guys. And then at the same time, you're not going to be the preference amongst your own, unless you fall into that specific niche category, that culture I just described. You're kind of in a weird predicament if you're one of those black guys that doesn't fit into one of these molds.
And that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying for years. That's why black men have it the most difficult out of all men on the planet, bro. Yeah? First of all, when you're a black man and you're dating within the black community, if you are not a Tyrone, if you are not rich, if you are not some kind of, I don't know, some outlier guy, dating within your own group is gonna be difficult. Yeah, it's just gonna be difficult. I'm sorry, bro. Like, and we know, as I've done loads of reactions and loads of people have done reactions on YouTube, will show you that a lot of women think they are 10s and they are very entitled and they all want a 10 out of 10 guy. They all want a 6'8" guy with status, fame, and money. And they are not ready to settle for less. They'll rather go into their old age single with cats than settle with a guy that they deem to be average. In fact, a lot of women will see it as an insult if you tell them that they should get with an average guy. Right? So that's that factor, number one. And the second factor is, you know, you want to go and do interracial dating. Well, a lot of women that are non-black are not really trying to date black men anyway. Right? So, yeah. And then the ones that do, they want the black guy that's the stereotype as well, for the most part. Not every single time, but a lot of times. So it's just, I don't know, it puts you in a weird position, like this guy said.
Whereas if you're a white guy, you could date whichever race because you have overall general appeal. If you're other minority, you can kind of date your own because they don't expect you to fall into such a narrow box. So just
they like, I don't want to keep interrupting too much, but yeah, you can be an average Asian guy and you know, date within your community quite easily. You could be an average Indian guy and date quite easily in your community. You definitely can be an average white guy and date in your community and be successful. But being an average black guy, you're going to have some turbulence, bro. You're going to have some turbulence.
Puts the black guys in a little bit of a predicament. Now let's get back to the point I talked about earlier. Yes, do black guys, at least in Western countries, have probably an overall initial higher appeal than like the East Asian guys or the Indian guys or even the Latino guys? Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably, or at least in most cases. However, there's a little bit of nuance to this, and I kind of alluded to that in the video as well. There's a difference between sex appeal and someone thinking you're cool and fetishizing you or wanting a short-term fling with you versus something actually long-term. So whereas I would actually argue that black guys, in terms of, you know, sexual action or sexual reach, it may be as high as even white guys, even in the white majority countries, or at least very close to it. I think we're very close to the bottom when it comes to long-term potential. And this is as a result of the stereotypes which kind of surround us. Unfortunately, stereotypes are a big thing in the world, and people that don't necessarily grow up in the culture, or, you know, people that are not necessarily black are just going to kind of lump you into the stereotype. That's just the reality of humans. We tend to group people and, you know, categorize them into different distinctions. So black guys tend to have the categories such as, oh, they're cool, or they're athletes, or they're rappers, or that's what's dominating me, and that's what's shown. So, you know, we have the perception of the BBC, every single black guy has a BBC, or every single black guy, you know, could jump, you know, super high vertical jumps or whatever. Every single black guy could rap music. These are all the type of stereotypes and categorizations that you hear, which don't necessarily always reflect the actual reality of every single black man.
And as a black man, I can agree with that because, you know, when you're in certain situations where you might be the only black guy there, or maybe the only black person in the vicinity, you know, you can kind of sense that these non-black people around you, they're kind of expecting you to fulfill one or more of these stereotypes. You know, you're perceived to be cool, you can dance, I don't know, you're entertaining, BBC, you know, all of these kind of stuff, like you can rap and all this kind of stuff, like, bruh, and it's bro, it's not really a good thing. It's not, I don't think this is actually a good thing. I don't think that, you know, it's fair that as a black man you are kind of expected to fulfill these stereotypes, whereas, you know, these other men from these other communities, they can just be whoever they want to be, you know. Even when you look in media, or whenever they cast black men to play roles in movies, etc., if you notice, the black men always kind of play the same kind of character. They're always typecast as the same kind of character. Even the black movies, just in general, seem to have this usually have the same kind of storylines, the same kind of background, and it's so predictable. But anyway.
There's a lot of black guys which are short, they don't have a BBC, they can't rap, they're not from the hood, they just went to university and are like kind of geeky, nerdy guys. And again, nothing wrong with that. So, those stereotypes which are in your advantage are usually very much for short term. You know, they were wild and unpredictable. These type of things, a lot of chicks love that fantasy, you know, that internet sensationalism that I talked about, and this will help you get laid, absolutely. And yes, you say that this is a good thing, but it just tends to kind of end there as a fetish, because that's all that they really want. Because just as we have these positive stereotypes which benefit us, there's also the negative stereotypes. The negative stereotypes are, hey, we're not the most economically affluent. That's one of the stereotypes that are associated with us. There's stereotypes of single family households. Again, there is a lot of our families are single, but again, not everyone. This is just a stereotype. There's those type of things. There's stereotypes of, you know, drug abuse or alcohol abuse. There's stereotypes such as, you know, we commit a crime. Again, a lot of the time girls, if they're going out partying, these things are going to benefit them, but when it comes to a long-term relationship, people want stability. People want something that they don't have to worry about, and we're not really seen as the safe option in that regard. Right. Because, you know, they're thinking of maybe, oh, hey, you're not going to have the same amount of money as another group that's associated to have the wealth, or you're not going to have the stable family that another group with stable families as a perception is going to be associated with, and so on.
And the fact of the matter is that all men from all groups are making poor choices, making bad mistakes, you know, becoming, you know, waste men, you know, that don't have money and don't have ambition and don't have no good careers, etc., etc. It's not just only black men that make those kind of mistakes, but it seems to be the point that black men have been stereotyped with these ills, and women, they will, unfortunately, they will look at these trends, the propaganda, and they will, you know, subconsciously believe it. Do you get what I'm saying? Or just consciously believe it.
So black dudes, in my opinion, really do have it kind of dead last or close to the bottom when it comes to LTR desirability, long-term relationship desirability, due to these stereotypes which are sometimes associated with us, even if you yourself don't fall into those stereotypes. So that's the next thing I kind of wanted to mention in the video. And yeah, a lot of time these girls are just going to see you as an object. I'm just going to state it how it is. I've been with girls that they're like, oh yeah, you're the first black guy I've been with, and you see this more and more, these stereotypical beliefs, the more homogenous of a country you go to sometimes, because they don't necessarily have that exposure to black men that a more diverse society may have, you know, because they have just overall better cultural awareness as they tend to interact with them on a more day-to-day basis. Next point is this. So I pretty much talked about my belief about why black guys... Oh, and one more thing before I get there. Just as those stereotypes can sometimes be in your advantage, the positive ones that actually are associated with us that actually do help us, what happens when you don't fit into the stereotypes? When the female is expecting, you know, the 6'5" rapper, or the guy with the BBC, or the guy that can rap and is like, you know, super adventurous and wild, what happens when you're just a normal, stable guy that doesn't really fall into that? A lot of times they're disappointed, because the girls that actually are into black guys and want to date black guys, they want to date the black guy. By that I mean they want to date the real, you know, the real black guy. I know it's a little bit of a joke, but the guy that embodies those black stereotypes, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. A lot of these non-black women, when they want to date black guys, is either they want to date super Tyrone, super tall, super athletic, you know, got money, looks like he can play basketball or some kind of sport, etc., etc., BBC, you know, got a little bit of hood element to him. You know, they want that, or they probably don't even want a black guy. They probably want a mixed race guy, bro. They want a biracial guy, and that's just what it is. So if you, as he said, and as I said earlier, if you don't fulfill these stereotypes, and this is the same as in dating within the black community as well. If you're a black guy, you do not fulfill those stereotypes. A lot of times, you'll just be cast aside. You'll be ignored, you know, because you're not going to fulfill that fantasy. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going to fulfill those dating requirements. So you're just going to get rejected, you know, for the most part. Not all the time, obviously not, but a lot of times.
They're not looking for the more so nerdy, just, you know, stable black guy. That's not what they're into. When women tend to be into black guys. And then they're going to end up being disappointed because you don't really fit into what they expect. So now I kind of want to talk about, so these are kind of my beliefs. This overall notion, like, yeah, the black guys are being checked for. Yeah, there's some truth to it in the fetishization aspect. I think there's sometimes it could be in your advantage. But most of the time, I think that a lot of these stereotypes actually just end up hurting you. And whereas other groups may actually be able to date their own as effectively, I think for blacks, at least in Western societies, this could be quite difficult unless you fit into the hypergamous narrative that black women so desire. So, what is the kind of takeaway of this video? And this is mainly for the black guys watching this video, because for the other groups, I guess there's less that you can learn from this. But the takeaways are this. If you're a black guy, I'm in no way saying it's over. I'm in no way like this black pill doomer just saying to just let it rot. No, absolutely not. Black guy, as a black guy, you gotta take advantage of who you are. If you don't sit there and fall into that stereotyped black urban culture, street culture, then don't try to fake or feign something that you're not. Because you see a lot of young men do this, and they end up in, you know, getting themselves killed or in jail, or just end up straying themselves off the path that they were otherwise destined to be in.
That was a great point that he's making. That a lot of black guys are going to pretend to be thugs. They're going to pretend to be career criminals, gang, and they're going to get themselves in a lot of trouble because they're trying to impress women. Simple as that. They're trying to impress women. That's why a lot of that is actually one of the biggest factors into why a lot of black boys go into, you know, gang life, is because, you know, they want to impress girls. They want to get girls, and they know that girls that like black guys, a lot of times they like black guys that are YNs, that are GMs, you know, and that's it, bro.
That's the first point. Second point is this. Sit there and still abide by the typical rules of dating success, of SMV, or, you know, male value. You know, increase your wealth. You know, continue going to the gym, stay in shape. You know, improve your confidence, to go out and give yourself the exposure to meet women, so on, so on, so on. These things are still valid value, and we're not denying that. Just understand that, hey, when you're trying to date other groups of women, play the interracial game, there's going to be disadvantages, as well as when you try to date black women, there's going to also be disadvantages. This is just about awareness, so you understand that when, hey, you're getting rejected, a lot of times it's because a lot of these girls just are not messing with you. They're not really interested in black guys, and if they are, it's just a lot of times just for a short-term fling. Nothing serious.
Yeah, it's facts, man. A lot of times, I've said it before, a lot of times you do this interracial thing, it usually is a short-term fling. Like, usually it's a short-term thing. I've done it many times, bro. Like, so, you know, it is what it is. I just want to shout out his channel, Neelech TV, Nilech TV. Yeah. He's on 968 subscribers. Go check him out, because I think that he said a lot of real things. He said a lot of things that I've said in videos for years. I've been saying this for years, like, but he articulated it very well. So big up to him. And yeah, go check him out. I'm going to go and react to the other end of the spectrum now. I'm going to react to the other end of the spectrum, bro. Because we are going to go check out King 68 the Great. Yeah? Going to go check out King 68 the Great, fam. And see what his life is like. Yeah? So please make sure you like the video. Let's go and see what's been going on over there. Here we go. Let's see what his life is like.
It's like, yo, why go to a club when the club is out here?
Where are you from?
I'm born and raised?
I don't know.
New York City.
Oh, New York.
Yeah.
I'm from New York City originally.
What part? You from the boogie now? Okay.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from...
Notice that this woman approached him, bro. She approached him. Look at how she's looking up at him, smiling, playing with her hair. Where are you from? Interest, high interest, bro. This girl is not a bad looking girl. She's above average in looks, right? And she approached him. He didn't even know she was there. She all tapped him on the arm, bro. This is why I wanted to show the contrast. So we had the guy who was more on the average side talking, and now we are going to show you what it's like to be a Tyrone. Because a lot of time when people, they talk about black men and they say black men's dating is easy, black men get all the girls, they're talking about guys like this one here. But this guy's 6'8". That is what? That's less than 0.1 of the population of black men walking around. But anyway.
Staten Island.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, that's what's
What
up.
are you doing out here?
I live out here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. What about you?
It's my birthday. So
It's your B-Day?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right.
You play a sport, you look like it.
That's so stereotypical. What if, like, that's so stereotypical.
Your body is athletic, that's why.
That's why?
Yeah. It's because you're tall.
I play golf.
Look at my boobs.
I'm a golfer. I'm a liar. Oh, I can't play golf? But because I'm black, I can't play golf?
The way you said it, are you a Libra? Lying.
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, he lying. Get away. He lying.
That's why I was like, yo, why go to the club?
So that is a point, you know. A lot of times these girls will see this guy and they're gonna automatically think he's an NBA player, 100%. Especially for the fact that he's so tall, he's wearing all these jewelry and stuff like that. You know, they're gonna assume he's an NBA player. So not only are they gonna be mesmerized by his height, they're gonna be thinking hypergamously the potential that he might have a lot of money as well. All right, next video. Oh, what the hell? Next video.
I'll take somebody's number.
They haven't even really spoke. These two girls came up to him. These two white girls came up to him and was like, yo, like, where are you going? We're looking for somewhere to go. Where are you going? Like, that's actually kind of mad when you think about it. Like, and then the next thing, he was like, I'll take your details. Bro, there was not, like, listen, I ain't got no problem with 6'8", the great. You know, I think he's funny. I think his videos are funny. I like reacting to his videos. But they do showcase the life and times of a guy who is nowhere near average, right? And how women will act thirsty for a guy who is tall, you know, who may be an NBA player. Yeah, and as an average man will look at this and see a life that they can only imagine. You know, this is out of their reality. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway.
Trying to go where? Where you trying to go?
Where are you trying to go?
You trying to go to the shop?
What did you just say?
You trying to go to the shop, right?
To the shop. Is that a question?
Okay, exactly. That's where we going.
Was that joke that funny, bro? They asked him where's he going, and he's saying to the top. And these girls, they paused, looked at each other, and then started laughing. Like, I know there's a sexual innuendo there, but I mean, that joke was not slapping like that, bro. Like, I don't know.
The top of the world. It's a YouTuber phone.
For sure.
Yeah, you got, yeah. Look how they was already clocking him. He's not even looking. That white girl was already looking at him, bro. Like, next. Let's see what we got here.
How you doing? Nice to meet you. Your name is Kansas?
Yes. What's your name?
Okay, my name is King.
Where are you going tonight?
I don't know.
Wow. The first girl approached him and introduced herself. The second girl came in, looking up and touched his stomach, bro. That is it. For all you guys that don't know, that is a certified come and take me now. You can have me now. That's what that little interaction meant. Look at how she's looking up at him in amazement. This is when you have won the genetic lottery, bro. Like, he's tall, and I'm sure most women will say that they find him attractive. In fact, today, I actually showed this guy's profile to a female that I know, and she was like, he looks amazing. That was her words. Today she said that. She was like, he looks amazing. Many women, whether they're black, white, or wherever they come from, bro, they're going to see a guy like that. They're going to be like, wow. She came over to a guy who her friend was talking to. She came over, ignored the friend, and came and touched his belly, bro. Wow. Like, I just have to ask you guys out there, do you live this kind of reality? Has this ever happened to you?
We might go to 11 or something.
11? You got a section there?
No. But I have friends that have sex.
11?
Why 11?
Why not space?
I don't know. I'm not an EDM fiend.
You don't like the little...
Nah. I'm gonna be in there. Everybody gonna be fist bumping, and I'm gonna be like this, looking at everybody.
You can't do the fist bump.
Hell, fuck it up.
Bro, she keeps touching him, bruv.
No,
I feel like
not.
every single person in the world says their name is King.
Seriously?
Every guy.
Wait, it says it on
Every
your
guy?
throat, though. It doesn't...
Touch him again, bro. She cannot stop touching him, bro. She touching his neck, fam.
Yeah, you touch my, don't touch my face now.
I'm sorry.
Come on now. Come on. I'm gonna weigh them hands, man. Don't do that.
No, but it says...
Okay, why y'all matching?
Okay, what? Yeah, we gotta, like, coordinate.
Oh, y'all literally planned this?
We didn't plan this.
Oh, okay. Where y'all from?
Where should we go? Where are we going? We're going to space.
Bro, she's like, where should we go? Where are we going? They have just met this guy and they're like, where should we go? Where are we going? This woman cannot stop touching him, fam. To the point where he's like, don't touch my face. I don't know where your hands have been. And that's real talk. You don't know where her hands have been for real. She could have been playing with willies and juggling balls for all you know. Yeah? But, bro, this is not the average interaction for most of you guys out there. I'm sorry, it's not, fam. Like, and I get a lot of comments from black guys. Oh, I get all the bad bees. I get loads of white girls. Oh, you know, da-da-da-da. Yeah, but your interactions are not like this, number one. Number two, them females that you're dealing with are probably not all that. They're probably average at best. Just because you can get loads of average at best chicks, I'm sorry, that's not a trophy. That's not something to brag about. I'm sorry.
You coming with us?
Oh, you want me to go with y'all?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your number?
So you went to 11?
I'll take your number too. I'll take both of your numbers.
Okay.
Wow, I'll take both of your numbers, fam. I'll take both of your numbers. He told the other girl to give me your number. Then the other one is looking up at him like, rah, you're not going to ask for my number? He's like, you know, I'll take your number as well. And she's like, okay, yes. So basically, in essence, he could literally take both of these girls back home. Both of them. They're ready. Especially the one with the brown hair, the dark hair. She's ready. She's good to go. Let's go now.
You know?
Well, are you guys actually going
Teamwork make the dream work, huh?
Look, I said my number, okay? This is
Okay. Riley.
Yeah, don't forget.
Awesome.
Wow. Wow. Listen, I'll be real. I do well in the real world as well. Like, I talk about all of this stuff with these women and blah, 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 and modern women and women, they want the top 10% of men and that. But I'll be real. Listen, I do well in the real world, bro. Like, with decent looking women, bro. Like, decent looking women, black, white, mixed race, bro. Like, I've done a lot out there. But this guy here, this guy's interactions, bruv, I'm sorry, bro. Like, this guy don't need to have game. He doesn't need game. His game is I am tall and women find me attractive, bro. And they think that I might be an NBA player. Like, he doesn't really need to say nothing too slick or too smooth. He just needs to make sure he doesn't say anything silly. Like, that's all. And he seems to be very well good at not saying anything silly. So that's it. That is it, bro. These two girls came up to him and they were competing to get this guy, bro. Competing. The second one said, I saved my number. This is my number. Don't forget it. You know what I'm saying? Next video. Two black girls now.
No, I don't.
I feel like you guys used to. Why don't you play basketball, actually?
Why don't I play basketball?
Yeah.
Because I'm a professional, like, cabinet, organizer. So, no, seriously. I get paid to organize cabinets. I'm dead serious.
Really?
Yeah, TaskRabbit.
Do you like do you travel?
So, yeah, like anything. If somebody wants me to come to the grocery store to go or like grab stuff over the top shelf, if they too short, I'll go there. I get paid hourly for that, and then TaskRabbit, I organize people's top shelves. And
these jokes are not funny, bruv. I'm sorry. Big up to King 68 the Great, yeah. No hate, my brother, but these jokes are not funny, bro. In the chat, tell me, do you think that these jokes are funny? Tell me, if this was an average guy saying these kind of jokes to these two girls right here on the screen, do you think they would be standing listening to this crap? Because I just think he's just waffling. At the end of the day, they're talking about, do you play basketball? Because they're assuming he's in the NBA, right? And he's saying no. So they're probably thinking, oh, he's being sarcastic. He's being sarcastic. He does play basketball, you know, and we're just going to listen to whatever he says, right? Because they're already invested. They're already down. So he literally could say anything. As long as he doesn't say anything too stupid, then he's already in there, bro. With both of them. All right? With both of them. Just like the two white girls previously.
And I dust top refrigerators.
But you know what? Like, actually, I might have a job for you. Because, like, I know these skills make you look tall, but when I take them off, I'm literally, like, perfect. So maybe we just do cabinets like you. Who knows?
No, seriously, I'm really good at it.
Really? Do you, like, travel? Because you live in DC, so you might have to come and, like, visit us and, like, do cabinets there.
And dust cabinets? I did dust some cabinets.
All right, perfect.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice, your name Dan, allegedly. I'm like,
Bruh, that girl is waiting for him to ask for her number. She is so ready, bro. She's ready to go. She's like, why hasn't he not asked for my number yet? What are you waiting for, bro? She already said you're going to have to come over and dust some cabinets. She's basically saying, come to my house. She's not talking about you got to take me to an expensive restaurant. She's not saying you got to make 6 figures and you got to take me to expensive restaurant and all of that. No, fam. No. She said come to my house and do some dusting. I've got some cabinets I need you to dust. Yeah. I'm sure you got a box you want him to dust as well.
that's such a fucking lie. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be like,
You think that's a lie?
I feel like, yeah.
I wouldn't lie about my name.
Are we gonna see you ever again?
Possibly.
Possibly.
You have my number?
You have mine, actually.
Oh, snap. Okay.
You're a very smooth talker. You don't even know my name.
I'm gonna call you. We're gonna talk about it.
Sure we do.
You look very beautiful tonight too.
You think so?
Yes.
Is that another smooth talker or is that for real?
No, I'm just being dead ass.
Oh, yeah?
You're fine.
Alright, then maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. We will see each other.
Shake on it.
We're gonna
My
shake
shake
on it.
means something. Does yours?
Yes, it does.
Alright.
All right. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
She is on it, bro. She is on it. Hold on, let me get rid of this troll. But yeah, she is on it, fam. That is crazy, boy. She's like, you got my number, you gonna use it, shake on it, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, that is crazy, bro. Bro. She wants him. Anyway, next. Oh, I gotta reload it. Ah, come on. What's going on? What is going on? Hold on, guys. Big up to Junior for the super chat. He says, did you see the video when he was on a date and told the girl he has a lot of kids and she didn't care? Yeah, I've done a reaction video to that. I reacted to that video a long time ago, man. Big up to Junior. Anyway, let's see. So in this still here, we can see this girl in the middle. She's already giving him the eye. Looks like this guy in the bomber jacket, he's trying to walk past, or maybe he's noticed her, but she's not looking at him at all. She's looking at 6'8", the great. What? Bro, he didn't even say anything to this girl, bro. He didn't even say anything to this girl. She just came over and she knew what time it was, bro. She knew what time it was, bro. She came over. He just handed her the phone. She knows what to do, bruv. She knows what the procedure. She knows the process, all right? Like, that's it. He didn't say a word to her. He's not even looking at her, bro. She's just been added to the roster and she's adding herself happily, bro. No kind of turbulence at all.
What's your name? I'm Callie.
She gave him, bro, do you not understand what's going on here? She gave him her contact details before even asking his name. She didn't even know his name, bro. She didn't know his name. He didn't know her name. All he knows is that she's looking, she's on it. Here's my phone. Put your number in my phone now. And I'm saying it without having to even say it. Just put your number here. And she knows what to do. Then after, when she's already saved her number, now she's asking his name. That's wild. Press 1 in the chat if that's ever happened to you. I'm sorry. That's not happened to me. I don't think anyway. I've probably had like situations close to that, but not quite that. He wasn't even looking at her. He was looking around for other targets.
Nice to meet you. I'll be right back.
Wow. So he was standing there. She came over. He handed her the phone. She put her contact details in, then asked him his name, and then she walked off, talking about, I'm coming back later. Wow, fam. Wow. This guy lives life on easy mode, bro. Everyone in the chat, write easy mode, bro. And this is not hating. This is just literally reacting to what we see. This is not hating, bro. This is not hating on him at all. But at the end of the day, his lifestyle, these kind of interactions are alien to the majority of men on this planet. On this planet. We're not just talking about black men now. We're talking about all men. This is wild, fam. This is so wild. Like, I don't know. Anyway, next one. All right, so it looks like we got a white girl here. What? Hold on. This girl walked past with another guy. She walked past with another guy and then she came back. At least at least she's quite tall. This girl is quite tall, because if he's 6'8", she's up there. Do you get what I'm saying? But obviously she's wearing heels. She's probably wearing 6-inch, probably 8-inch heels. But still. This girl was walking past with another guy. Her hand was in the hand of another guy walking. Then she came back just to talk to him. That's, bruh, that's crazy work.
I'm gonna hit you up.
Look. She was walking with another guy, bro. She was walking with this guy. Look. And he's just standing there. And then she just came back. Just like that, with this super mini skirt dress, whatever it is, weird dress. Like, fam. Let me just say this thing, yeah? And this is not hating him, but, bro, this is not a guy that any guy should bother getting dating advice from, because he doesn't need game. All right? This guy doesn't need game. His game is, I'm alive. I'm here. That's his game, bro. All right, we got another one. Look at that. Did you see that girl's face? She was like, oh. And this is what I'm saying about these non-black girls, bro, yeah? These white girls and these non-black girls that like black guys. Bro, when they like black guys, they want Tyrone, super Tyrone, bro. Like, yes, this kind of guy is going to get all kinds of non-black girls easily. Pretty ones, nice ones, in shape ones, yes. Bro, did you see that some other guy tried to tap her and she just looked at him like, ugh. Ugh. And listen, she started talking to him first. She started talking to him first, bro. All right? Always remember that. This guy gets approached. He don't even do the approaching. He gets approached. He's just chilling.
Wanna pick us up?
All right.
At Kiki?
What time y'all gonna be there?
Sunday.
Okay, yeah.
Sunday we'll be at Kiki, yeah. You can pick us up at like 1:30.
1:30?
The brunch, yeah.
Okay.
You didn't even get my name.
I'm gonna text you. Well, we're gonna talk.
You don't introduce?
Yes, my name is King. Yours?
Harper.
Okay. Harper.
Bro, again, this is another example. They don't even know each other's names. She's already given him the number and she doesn't know his name, bro. He doesn't know her name. She doesn't know his name, but she's already given him the number, bro. Wow. Wow, bruv. And she's already setting up a date. She's telling him, yeah, you can pick us up at 1:30 on Sunday. She's already confirming a date without knowing his name. And he doesn't know her name. Listen, this is a guy that doesn't need game. This is a guy that just won the genetic lottery, bro. Yeah? And, you know, he's living his movie. Bro, I have no hate towards this guy. But we need to call a spade a spade. Yeah? There are guys like this in this earth that don't need to go through all the loopholes and burning hoops and all the obstacles and, oh, you need to be making 6 figures and you need to be this and you need to be that and I'm not settling for less and blah, blah, blah. No, there's guys like this that can just literally give the girl his phone and they will give the number over without even knowing his name. And this is why a lot of guys are just like, bro, I'm not going to go and do the most for one of these 304s when I know that they've been giving their box out for free. You know, I'm not going to go the extra mile for these 304s when they've been giving their box to guys for free and not even knowing the guy's name. And why should I have to like go and take you out to some mad expensive date when, you know, you're setting up dates with man? And you're going to put out on the first day. 100%. It's crazy. And again, this girl is not bad looking, fam. She's got a great figure, bro. And she's got a decent face. Even her friend is all right as well. All right? These are not busted chicks. These are not average chicks, bro. Like, I know some of you going to say, oh, no, these chicks are not all that. Bro, yeah, right, fam. Bruh. It's real out here, fam. It's real. Alright, so I was gonna go on to this, but nah, I'm gonna look at a different video. Hold on. I wanna look at a different video. Cause we gotta look at some other stuff. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna look into this video right here. Yeah. And it is along the lines of what we've been talking about. Average guys and like a guy like 6'8", you know, and how it's just a different world. Sometimes we're living in different worlds, different realities. So this guy here basically went and done limb lengthening surgery, bruv. And I want to go through this video because it's very, very important. And it's called Mr. Broken Bones Limb Lengthening Journey from 5'5" to 6 foot. Let's go.
And now I'm a part of the 6 Foot Club.
My decision to actually get limb lengthening started last year.
I'm Denzel Siggers. I'm 27 years old. I started out at 5'5", just barely, and now I'm 6 foot.
My only insecurity was my height.
I've Googled how to get taller since I was about 16 years old, and limb lengthening came up. They have, and they're one of the only companies, it's called Live Life Taller. They have a rehabilitation center. What they did was they put rods in my leg. They cut the bone surgically, and then they put rods in your legs to extend the bone over.
The process takes 3 months.
So I underwent that procedure twice to get the maximum amount of height. I've always been very unhappy with my height, pretty much my entire life. I realized I was short around 15 years old, and ever since then, it's kind of weighed on me.
I was in the hospital for the first 10 days, but then after that, I was in a rehabilitation center.
I got my first surgery December 21st. I finished at the end of February. I got my next surgery the first week of March.
This is so wild, bro. This is so wild. And, you know, I like, you could say what you like, but I understand why this guy is doing this, because at the end of the day, he was 5'5", and we know that as a man, especially a black guy, you know, and you're very short, like, yeah, your dating life is gonna be hard. And I know for sure that the main contributing factor to him doing this limb lengthening surgery was for women. Women, bro. 100%, fam. Yeah. And yeah, that's it. So he decided to go and do this very, very dangerous surgery.
174.5, 180.5.
The first one took about 2 months, so from end of December to end of February, and then I got the second one in March, and I just finished that one May.
Physiotherapy, where they stretch you, they teach you how to retrain your legs to walk, because you actually lose the ability to walk for the first couple days.
Isn't it crazy what guys are going through just so that they can attract women? Because we know that men are so severely and harshly judged and rejected based on so superficial things like height. Like, oh, a guy's too short. He's too short. He has to be 6 foot. The funny thing about this is that he's gone from 5'5" to 6 foot. But what you will notice is, in our current time, being 6 foot is not even classed as tall by many women. Press 1 in the chat, or let me know in the comment section if you know this to be true. Now, most of these women are talking about you got to be 6'3". Their ideal height for a guy these days is 6'3". Bro, I'm 6'1", and you know, I don't even fall in that criteria. And again, I'm a guy that does well. Most women that I know in real life would class me as tall. Most people would say I'm tall. But like, even with that being said, fam, like, a lot of these women that come out on social media, they come out on TikTok and Instagram and all these videos, and they love voicing their dating requirements. Now they're talking about the ideal guy will be 6'3", 6'4", blah, blah, blah. So even though he's got to 6 foot, which is a huge change in his life, but bruv, you're still not even classed as tall like that. It's crazy, fam. It's crazy. Absolutely wild.
Day 14.
Bro, look what he's going through, bruv. He's got metal rods in his leg, bro. All just to get women, bro.
Get so mad, there's no control.
Day
37.
37.
I might grab a bat, I don't know.
Day 50. And no more fixators, right?
That I can't let go. So just
Day
for the rest.
58.
So have you
Day 21. And oh my god, that's it.
Cause I know you got me up. Let me show you what.
That's so crazy, fam. Man's learning how to walk. He's having to relearn how to walk, all because he wants to get women, bro. And I'm not saying that to knock him or insult him, but this is the reality. This is the truth. This is the truth.
For a lot of people who watch my social media and a lot of my pictures before, I never smiled. I never liked to smile. For some reason, felt like men didn't smile. I had all different types of thoughts. When you look at my social media, all you see is me smiling, happy, loving life, because I'm grateful for the life I've been given and all the opportunities that have been presented to me. Apparently, I've been told now that I'm a social media influencer, so I will run with that, but I actually do music.
Okay, so what kind of music?
I rap, of course.
Wow. So now, because he got taller, now he's all extroverted, he's all smiling, and wow, bro. Oh yeah, and let me add this caveat as well. Doing limb lengthening surgery is extremely expensive. Like, it costs near enough $100,000 to do this surgery. Right? This is not a cheap procedure. This is not a procedure that they want everybody to go and do. Yeah. But, bro, like, he's done it, fam. And now he's a rapper. No, I can't play all that music, bruv. Don't want all that music, bruv. Getting copyright and that.
And I'm not even recovered yet.
As far as my recovery process, I work out every day. I'm just restricted in some of my abilities, like squatting. Recovery takes about 6 months to a year.
Bruv, 6 months to a year recovery walking, bro. So you do this surgery and you're still gonna be messed up. And you know what? I'm thinking like, right, you must be in a lot of pain, bro. Like, because you've got metal rods in your legs, bro. Like, they've broken your legs and repaired them with metal rods, bro. Like, that is not a minor procedure. That's a lot of pain. That is extreme pain. But they're not going to talk about that. He keeps playing this silly music, though. So he's doing all of this, like, rehabilitation in the gym.
And all my abilities, and like I feel like now a lot easier to make my dreams come true. Like, you know, I love music, but this guy didn't have the confidence, and this guy does. And I'm very happy.
Wow, look at the difference, bro. Look at the difference in height. That's where he used to be, bro. And they even put him on a t-shirt that says size matters. That's wild, bro. That is so wild. But now he's like, he feels super confident. Why? Because women like guys that are tall. That's why. That's really what it boils down to, bro. And a lot of times, why did these guys become rappers? Because they're trying to get girls as well. It's all about women at the end of the day. It's all about women, bro.
I love music, but this guy didn't have the confidence, and this guy does. And I'm very happy. And honestly, this is one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. I didn't feel like a patient. I felt like family. Like, everyone's so nice and involved. And in karaoke, they let me do one of my songs, and I was so happy because I was like...
I mean, the height is a sign of man, you know.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Progress was a little bit difficult, especially in the beginning. I started off with no mobility at all. I couldn't really move my legs, but it's really a lot of commitment and sticking to it. I went to the gym every day, twice a day, and it only took a matter of days to really start seeing progress. After 2 or 3 days, I could bend my legs again, I could walk, and everything is really just timing. You just gotta be patient.
Everybody watching, yeah, all you guys watching, right? Let me know, would you do this surgery, bro? Honestly, let's be real, guys. Let's be real. Everybody watching, let me know you're watching it live right now, or you're watching this in the comment section on the replay. Let me know, would you do this surgery? And what do you think the world would be like if this surgery became more accessible to the majority of guys, or even 50% of guys? Because, you know, obviously, as I said, this surgery is very, very expensive, right? And, you know, obviously the recovery is a long recovery period of rehabilitation and stuff like that. You really won't be able to walk properly for a while. Yeah, but would you do it? Let me know.
And with yourself and push even when you're tired or when you don't feel like it, because if you don't, you're not going to reap the rewards of the surgery. This is one of the top maybe 10 hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. And it's been a challenge, but I've loved it the entire way, mainly because I've had an opportunity to test myself every single day. Every single day I wake up, and some nights are hard, but I tell myself every day I wake up and say, I got this today. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be my strongest. And in the beginning, the goal seems so far away. Like it seems like you'll never get there. But every day goes by and it's like, I'm closer. And now I'm finally here, and it seemed like time went by so fast. Like I look back and I can't believe it. Like it's almost unbelievable. It's like a dream come true. My entire life, I wanted to be taller, and now I am. And it's like, wow. Like I look in the mirror and can't believe it some days.
That's crazy. He got 9 centimeters taller, and like he literally feels like his life is literally completely different.
174.5. 174.5.
I've seen a lot of change.
They love playing this music, man. Mad music, fam.
As they
First lengthening on the tibia. 1983. It's important.
Man has to carry around these metal things on his legs, bro. Oh my days, bro.
It's going so.
I thought I would never be fine.
What the hell? Bruh. So basically, you're walking around with these metal rods in your legs, and then, oh my God, like, and then you're turning something like a screwdriver in your legs, fam. Making your legs longer, bro. This looks so painful, bro.
Yes.
I strive just to say I'm alright.
Bro, they love playing this music, man.
I've changed, been through okay.
Unless you say the words, I quit. As long as you never say the words, you're pushing yourself every single day. No matter how weak you feel inside, you're showing strength to other people by being able to continue on and not give up. That shows how strong you are as a person, both mentally and physically.
You have to choose between rich but short guy or tall guy but not rich.
I'm going tall, not rich. I'm tall, not rich. I can always get rich. You can't always get tall.
That's true. Because if you are tall, you are rich, you know what I mean?
Wow. This guy said if you are tall, you're rich. And like, guys, do you agree with that? That's a really good question. Would you rather be short and rich or tall and not rich? Which would you pick? Like, yeah, it's mad. It's mad. Because really and truly, it boils down to being able to attract women, bro. That's what that is all about.
Okay, how much centimeter you reach now?
5.5 today.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And totally with humor?
So my x-ray said 9.5.
Okay.
So 15 centimeters. 5 weeks since removal. My mobility is great. I can bend my knees again.
So he all in total, he done 15 centimeters of height. Wow. But the thing about it is that, yeah, you've got all this extra height, but you can't move naturally now. Like I don't know. Is the end result that you'll be able to walk, but you won't be able to run, or like forget about playing sports because your legs won't be able to play sports? Bro, like there's just so many variables, bro. They keep playing this stupid music, fam.
180.5.
But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes, and ain't no one in life holding me.
Bruh, look at the line of his height as it's gone up, bro. Crazy. He was shorter than this guy, the doctor, and now he's taller than the doctor, bruv.
You want to say something to this?
I don't miss this guy. I am happy he's gone. I'm very grateful for everything. I've always been very happy with myself. Height was the one thing that I was just like very unhappy with. It was like kind of an obsession. Like everywhere I go, everyone looks so big, and it always like made me feel small, like a child, like I didn't exist. Now I feel like I can take over the world. I'm more confident in myself. I'm more confident in all my abilities, and like I feel like now a lot easier to make my dreams come true.
Bruh, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of sad that we've got to a point where it's just like guys are willing to risk their ability to walk because some stupid 304s on the internet are talking about they want a guy that's tall and stuff like that, when a lot of times these women don't really bring nothing to your life anyway. Yeah, I just I don't know, bro. I don't know, fam. But anyway, let me know what you lot think about it in the comment section below. Obviously, I'm going to cut up this live stream into smaller chunks for you lot. Yeah, I've got some interesting reaction videos on the way as well. So you lot stay glued to this channel and all of that good stuff, man. But I really appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you've all hit the like button. Don't forget to do that, yeah. I'll be back again with more content, man. You lot take care of yourselves, and I'm out of here. Peace.